Often we ask where we are in life, and typically we don't really know. We might have a present area. I'm right here in front of my camera right now trying to make a video for you, but really, where am I presently? Like what am I doing right now? And this is kind of the same thought process I had. I feel like for the last 3 years, when I started waking up a little bit to just the real world and just thinking about how or what I wanted to do in this world and my life. And up until I had done a few things in order to be creative, whether that just be through simple TikTok posts, lifting wise because I like lifting, or gaming because I like gaming, and everyone has a gaming YouTube channel at one point in their life, right? So I tried both these things, and they were fun. Nothing serious though. I took steps, but I never actually moved forward with what I wanted to do. It was just kind of simple, small, little actions, but nothing significant or insane. And I had been thinking in this last semester of college how I really just wanted to do something. I really wanted to create something. I really wanted to just do something more than just nothing. And in the past, like I just said, I was doing something, but I wanted to actually make something happen, right? And up until a few weeks ago, it was a winter break. It's now 2023, but it was winter break, and I had heard the saying, "Burn the boats, burn the ships, burn your boats," whatever, however they want to say it, however you want to say it. Same thing implied. And I had never heard this before. I'd heard the things like you can only have, plan A. If you have a plan B, then nothing's gonna happen, right? One chance, all that stuff. But the way that I heard this just kind of it stuck out to me a lot more. I don't know if it was just how it was presented or whatnot, but before I get into it, and I guess how it helped me solving and taking risks, I want to kind of give a little background on it because I think the way it's set up and just presented is such a cool story, I guess. So, back in around 1500, Cortez, a Spanish conquistador, and 600 men landed on the shores of Yucatan in an attempt to take the Aztecs' riches. His men were worried and uncertain of being able to conquer such a large empire, and he knew this. So he did something that seemed completely insane to his people. He ordered that they burn their boats, and the men resisted, and Cortez then responded, "If we are going home, then we are going home on their ships." He then ordered them to burn their boats again. And as someone again who had never heard this story or even fully, I guess, identified this idea, it stuck out to me a little more because, as a student in college, maybe you were in college, maybe you have a job, maybe you are not in college yet. Whatever you are doing in life, you're working. I've always thought that, well, I don't know what I fully want to do in my life. And I knew that I needed to make an action, some type of immense action, something that stuck out, something that actually had a difference or made a change in my life. And this actually didn't occur until, as I mentioned, about, when was it? I would say right before Christmas break, so like December 20th something. And only a few weeks ago. And I had thought about the idea of going ahead and being creative again, doing what I am doing now, seemingly. And that might be a hint at what I'm going to say and talk about, but this idea of burning your boats is really just taking a risk. As I said in the title of the video, this is what helped me take a risk. And for me, it wasn't burning the boats. It wasn't, canceling, dropping out of school, doing something crazy, getting a crazy job, moving away, I don't know, canceling relationships. No, it was the idea that I'm going to go ahead and, in this scenario, buy a camera. And if any of you know, which I actually didn't fully know, I had no idea how expensive cameras really were. So I went in a little ballsy. I was not ready to, not necessarily not ready, but I was not expecting them to cost that much. And I kind of leaned back into what I had learned this saying only a few weeks beforehand. I am a person who values money, I'd say, a little bit more than maybe an average person, just puts the emphasis on how important money is. And maybe that's from family, maybe that's just past life, but spending a lot of money on a risk seemingly is, in my sense, and I feel like in my life, an example of me burning the boats. At the moment during this winter break, actually the time that I really started looking into it and thinking of it, got extremely sick, caught a bacterial virus or something, and wasn't the COVID or flu supposedly the doctor said, but I got so sick, I was in bed for 5 days and genuinely sick for 8. I sat there and I was just sitting watching YouTube videos, Netflix, TikTok for hours. And I mean, I was so sick, guys, that I could not get out of bed. It was like bad. I was sleeping for like 14 hours a day, it felt like. And in that time, I think around like it was the third or fourth day, I think it was the third day, I went ahead and I was like, I am so sick of watching stuff right now, you know, as a person who watches YouTube for hours a day or plays video games for hours a day. I was genuinely just bored of consuming stuff for that long of a time in a row. And I was thinking, man, you know, it was really fun and enjoyable editing those videos back then, or making content, you know, just get a few likes, having fun, being able to create something of my own. And I had thought back to why I had been genuinely a little bit upset this last semester. Maybe that's a whole nother video or something, but, you know, with my first semester in college, and I was thinking, I wasn't being creative at all. I was struggling in school, going through school, hanging out with friends, making friends, sure, having a good time every once in a while, yeah, but I was not being creative at all. I was locked in and I was focused, which is great, but I wasn't doing anything creative, and I wasn't helping anything or anyone. And in this idea of not being able to help anyone or do anything, I was like, I need to go ahead and do this. I want to go ahead and do something, and this is what came to mind. Talking, and just being able to be someone that can talk and create. And, you know, in this sense, a lot of people might be like, for example, my parents, you know, I'd watched, what was it, upwards of, in those days to follow while I was sick, upwards of 14 hours just on cameras, learning all about cameras, watching camera reviews, reading stuff on cameras. I didn't know anything about cameras. I still don't. No, I'm learning a little bit, but really, there's gonna be a big leap in the cinematic stuff at the beginning and end of videos or in between. I can only see in like a month or two compared to now. But I learned a ton of stuff, and I could genuinely feel my passion and just the desire to be creative right there again. And you might be like, okay, well, how is this really burning boats again? I'm going back to the money aspect of it and taking that risk. I could obviously, you know, not make a penny off this ever in my life, and that'd be completely okay. But it was a risk that I'm willing to take, time I'm willing to put in, and things that I want to do, because I see it as valuable and I see it as something that I will gain out of, whether that be physically money or not. Most likely not, but you never know. And at least not for the time being. And my parents, you know, upon me telling them, which I'll be honest, I don't normally have conversations like talking about my passions or, you know, trying to be creative to my parents, right? It's just not something I do. So when I told them, I was surprised actually how it was received. They were genuinely pretty open to it and thinking the fact that my dad said everyone needs a hobby, you know, everyone needs to be creative. And I think that was really cool to me, because I felt like it was, you know, accepted to that extent. Of course, when I showed him the price tag on the camera I was going to spend with my money, you know, he was like, whoa, he's like, that's a, you know, big commitment. And I think that's typically what makes something like this more important to me. And some might see that as a bad mindset, but if I'm going to go ahead and spend, you know, X amount of money on something, I almost feel that as a backing to like make me do it. And in a sense, it's burning the boat. You know, money isn't something that we have unlimited of, and in this case, it's something a brokish college student, definitely don't. So me going ahead and doing this is in a sense burning my boat, forcing me to go ahead and, as Cortez said, go and conquer the land, and if they want to go sail back, they can do it on the enemy's boats, right? Although I'm not saying that I'm anything special in particular, I believe that this idea of being able to burn the boats is something special that you can apply. And that doesn't mean that you have to go ahead and buy a camera or become a content creator or do something with social media. You can do it with anything. And that could be whether that's relationships, and that might come off in a bad idea off the bat, but education, going to a different school, far away from your family or something but is beneficial to you in a proper way, a job. I don't know, there's a lot of things you can do. but the idea is that you're committing to something. Are you able to do that? Are you able to commit to something that is a risk? In this case, I thought I am, because I cannot see myself living a life better than being able to commit to something that I can see passion out of, you know? Of course, I might never succeed. Of course, no one may ever watch this video. But at the same time, the chance that someone does, and that my passion is received, and that you have learned something or I've benefited you in some way, is worth the risks to me. And I think that's, the idea that I want to put behind this channel and myself continuing this onward, because I can't really see it any other way for me. I could always get a job, and I always will most likely be able to get a job. That's not what I meant to say. I will always be able to go ahead and get a job, but this idea of having something that I can work on that is passionate, whether it just be a hobby, is extremely important to me in my future, I feel like. And I think it should be for everyone. Even if you have to take a few risks, burn a few boats, it's this idea of no choice, life or death, which of course is not the case in this situation to the fullest. It's not like I just quit my job to do this, which a lot of YouTubers do at one point, which is, I think, is still crazy, because you have to think, YouTube is still such a volatile thing for people. Like, you think about all those YouTubers that, maybe they hit a certain point and they're like, all right, I'm gonna quit my job. I think that's awesome. I think it's crazy, but I think it's awesome. I'm rambling on a little bit now, but really I just kind of wanted to bounce back to this idea of doing it and taking that risk, because it is the biggest part of it. And it's what I kind of titled this video, this helped me take my risk, because it really did. I could have easily just gone back this semester and came here, played video games the whole time with my friends in my free time, or gone out, which is still great. That's still fine. I love doing that stuff. But instead, I took the initiative to go do something else, and that's this, and that's whatever I'm going to make of it. And that's the risk that I wanted to take, and that's what I'm going to keep doing. And I hope that through me talking about this stuff, you were able to, despite what others think. Like my parents, they were happy to see that I was, I think in a sense, talking to them passionately about something I wanted to do. But then again, I brought up the idea of having this risk financially, not that I can't afford a camera, but the fact that I'm putting that money into it at this stage of my life, and them knowing that. And I think it scared them a little bit. And it's not I think, I know, because you can tell as a person, as an individual, when your friends and family, the people closest to you, are watching out for you, or in a case, not necessarily holding you back, but are a little concerned about what action you're making, because it might not result positively for you. Now, I think that there's a few ways to go about this, but I think the best is to really just go with what you believe yourself. Of course, that doesn't mean to disregard everything your friends or family say, but in this sense, for me, you have to outweigh the risk with the reward, or what you truly want out of it, and I couldn't see anything else. So, with that being said, I never even introduced myself fully. My name is Brennan, and this is TheProphetFilms. I hope that you guys are able to burn your boats in some sense, whether it be big or large, and really just take more than a few steps and just move forward, because I think there's a lot to be had in life that a lot of people don't do, because they are stuck in this present day. They are here, as I showed in the video at the beginning, and they aren't really there. They are here, but they are not anywhere past that, if that makes sense. And maybe it didn't, but please take that risk, burn some boats, and go do something that you find passionate and that you find meaningful to your life, that you can say is a plan A, and that you can say life or death in a situational, hopefully you don't get in a situation like that, but in a situation that you can semi-throw yourself into. So with that being said, thank you for watching the video. Please leave a like and sub. If you like the cinematic stuff, I got some stuff closing out here. Just some stuff I picked together from my vacation we took to Grand Cayman, my second time out of the country. And I hope you enjoy it. I will be strongly improving upon the camera stuff. But as I said, I needed to take risks. I needed to burn boats, and I learned how to use my camera. In fact, when we were on that vacation, I had bought the camera 2 days prior, and I actually had no idea how to use it. I set it all up, set settings up, tried to figure out how to do simple things, but I had not record one thing, edit one thing. So all that stuff is very live, virgin, freaking camera, recording, filming, and I cannot wait to get better with it and to learn what the hell I'm actually doing. So I hope you guys do enjoy, and I hope that you guys come back for another video. Thank you. Have a good one.